Welcome back to Old War Stories with Uncle Jay. This one is entitled Gated Community. Alright, this dates back to, we're going to say about 1998 to 1999. At the time, I was doing some freelance computer work. By freelance, it meant anything. You needed it fixed? I'll fix it. You need to know how to use it? I'll teach you. That was pretty much what I was doing. Home visits, there were a couple of businesses here and there, but I generally avoided that because they were bigger bastards than just your typical home user. In the early days, it was more computer lessons, teaching people how to use computers. And they needed it then because a lot of people they knew they had to get a computer, but they didn't know how to use it or what to do with it. Or they figured out some of it, but they didn't know how to do particular tasks. And we're talking about simple stuff. You have to remember this was the early days, and it was the early days of dial-up also, when that became more commonplace. So people they didn't know that much yet. Nowadays, kids are born with a phone, and, sending an email, sending a text is instant. It's instinct, stuff like that. Posting on social media, that's instinctual as well. But it wasn't then. And these were older people, not older in terms of like older than me. Now, they were middle-aged people. Sometimes the kids would be involved also. Sometimes they were older people, like seniors, depending. So I had this lady, forget how she got my number or found out about me, but she did. And she lived in Searingtown, New York. And she says, I want computer lessons. I said, okay, it's this much an hour, and blah, blah, blah. And remember, I was about 18 or so I didn't know what to really charge, so it was too little. But anyways, I said, okay, no problem. So we set up a time and date. Now, at the time, I still had my old Chevy. And the lady said, now, I'm in a gated community. So I think when I tell you what she said next, you'll kind of get the idea. When you get there, there's going to be a gentleman in the booth, and you tell him that you're here to see Mrs. So-and-so at whatever address and why you're here. He's going to call me, and I will okay that, and he will then open the gate and let you in. So this place has a whole bunch of houses in there. I don't remember if they were attached per se or exactly what the deal was. I don't really remember. But this plot of land has a fence around the entire thing, and there's no way in unless you go through that security guard. Of course, you could drive through the gate also. That's another story. But, anyway, that's the only way in. I can't really remember exactly how it was, but you can tell already that this was a very hoity-toity area. And this lady obviously had a lot of money. Not only to be able to live there, but she's also older and probably has a very, very sizable nest egg. Well, anyways, I had my old Chevy at the time, and she says, you can park in my driveway. I said, is there anywhere else for me to park? She said, why would you want to park anywhere else? I said, my car has an oil leak and I would hate to do that to your driveway. She says, yes, down the block there's a spot for like 4 cars. You can park there if you'd like instead. So I parked there, and then I walk up, and then you got like a mile walk up to the house because they're big and things. And I ring the bell. The lady comes to the door. She opens the door. She invites me into the foyer. The foyer is the size of my living room. And there is a spiral staircase that goes up this way and a spiral staircase that goes up this way. Depending on which way in the house you have to head, you would pick the appropriate staircase so you wouldn't have to turn when you got up there. Ooh. And of course you had the obligatory gigantic chandelier. This was the dictionary definition of a McMansion. Okay? So there you go on that. So she says, okay, yeah, let's head on down to the computer. Can I get you something to drink? Anything like that? You know, she plays the nice hostess bit. No, I'm fine. Let's go. Okay. So we head on downstairs. And we pass by the piano room. And we pass by the library. And we pass by all of these other rooms that you don't have in a normal house that you don't need and generally don't go in either. Except for a couple times a year, maybe. Or like once a week, if you're even that lucky. It's like those people who had regular houses, but they also have a den or family room, depending on... different people will call it different things. And they don't go in the living room because the living room is for company. And because it's for company, we do not have a television in the living room. And no one is allowed in the living room unless we have company. And we will all sit there in our Sunday best and converse over tea. And I'm like, you're not that kind of people, and you don't live in that kind of house. But okay, so we'll go in the family room or we'll go in the den. Anyway, we get down to this lady's computer. I think it was in the basement, but it's inconsequential. I seem to remember it was. And you have to go through like a hallway in the basement. I'm like, okay. So we go and we're in the basement and we get to the computer. And she says, I have these pictures and I want to scan them and send them to my granddaughter. Okay, no problem. Well, the computer's off, so why don't I have you go ahead and turn that on and, we'll get into your email and see how comfortable you are with that, and then we'll look into, scanning those pictures in. She's like, how do you turn it on? I said, you don't know how to turn it on. Have you used it before? No. My grandson said I needed it here. It wasn't old either. It was pretty new for what it was. And I said, okay. Wow, I didn't know we were actually starting here. I wish I knew that. I would have been a lot more prepared. But all right, let's see what we can do. I said, let me look and see where all the power buttons are and shit like that. And I found her power strip, because you would have a power strip and you would turn your computer off back in the day. Windows would say it's now safe to turn off your computer, and then you would turn it off. It didn't just shut off like it does today. That wasn't a thing yet. Sorry. Anyway, this lady knew absolutely nothing. And she wants to scan and email pictures. Scanning wasn't even as easy as it is today. So I said, well, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to teach you in stages here. You can't jump from, I don't know how to turn this on, to, I want to scan and send pictures to my granddaughter. It just doesn't work that way. It's a building process where you have to learn how to use the mouse and what programs are and what they do and which ones you need to use and how email works. And then that you can do that, then I can teach you about scanning. Yeah, but I just want to send them. I said, well, I can do it for you, but you're not really learning anything then. I said, if you want, I can do that, but do you have an email address? No. Well, it doesn't work that way. You're going to need to... This isn't working out, lady. I said, you got to think about everything that you want to do here and how and why, and understand this is a whole new thing. This is something you've never had before, and you need to learn how to use it, and you're not an expert the very first day. It just doesn't work that way. So she says, all right, well, give me the basics. So I teach her about how to use the mouse and how it's not a pedal for a sewing machine and it goes on the desk and all the old shit and how the CD-ROM tray is not a cup holder and all the old stupid user tricks from back in the day, okay? We got through all of that. So I taught her all of that shit and I said, okay, we need to set up another session. So would you like next week? Same time? She says, yeah, that's good. Okay. And, how old were you again? I'm 18. Oh, well, my grandson, he's 38. And he works in computers. And he this and that. And and she's talking and talking and talking and talking and talking. And then my neighbor said, blah, 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 blah. And I'm standing there. And, oh, my husband is getting home in about 45 minutes. I need to start dinner. And she says, okay, how much? So I was there for an hour. And then she kept me standing there, smiling and nodding and going, uh-huh, uh-huh, oh, uh-huh, I see, uh-huh, right, so you know what I'm dealing with here. So I charge her for an hour and 3/4 because she kept me talking for 45 minutes. She said, you said it was this much an hour. I said, yeah, that's what I'm charging you. But we've just been standing here talking. I said, right, you're on my time. Needless to say, I didn't go back because she didn't like that answer. I can't spend another hour being an old person's ear that she can talk off. Okay? If you want me to do that, you can pay me to do that. But I'm not going to work and not be paid. Okay? If you're keeping me here, I am working. I'm in your home, I am on the clock. It's that simple. If I go to the bathroom and I have a tremendously awful shit and I'm in there for 15 minutes going through 16 rolls of toilet paper, I'll cut you a break. But otherwise, I don't care about your grandson, your granddaughter, your neighbor, or that your husband is coming home in 45 minutes. Stuck up fucking people. You'd think this lady would be like, oh, okay, sure. Write me a check or just give me cash. They usually gave me checks, but it was a pretty safe bet then. I never did get burned with a check either. There was another time where a guy refused to pay me what I asked, and he said, I'm giving you a check for this amount. And I had planned retaliation, but never did it. That's a story for another time. Anyway, that's kind of all I had on my mind over the last few days as far as old war stories. And as it is, the three I told in this particular session, sitting down, were just recent ones. There's plenty of old war stories on the list still. These were just the three most recent ones that I told. So there's a lot more to come. And as it appears right now, the way the old war stories work is it's kind of a more not over the summer thing. This year was extended quite a bit, but whatever, I don't know. Maybe we'll do it 6 months on, 6 months off. I don't know. But I do remember that everybody was very upset when my Throwback Thursday series ended. But I simply ran out of material. I did not have any more to present. And people were like, oh man, I looked forward to that. And I get that. I can still do that as sort of a revival for quite a series. If you want to see, I can do my wedding and give commentary. And I can do what I shot on my honeymoon and give commentary. So if anybody's interested in that, the wedding was like, we're going to say 2.5 hours. So I thought about splitting that up into, maybe 10 or 15 minute segments, because who's sitting down for 2.5 hours to watch my wedding? Which, by the way, 2025 will be 20 years that I've been married. Old man, and he's gray and bald. Well, one t-shirt I don't have that I need to get, that I will get one day, is one that says, and I saw some guy with this, and of course he fit, which is why he wore it, just another sexy bald guy. So definitely going to have to get that one. One day. Anyway, that's that. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Make sure you click like. Make sure you click subscribe. And take care. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.